I found myself saying, sure, you can stay home. But I was a bit resistant since when he leaves, I get some peace and quiet and I can take care of my 8-month-old and do some chores with less stress. That's a perception. I was talking on the phone and he kept asking me to play with him. I kept saying, 1 minute, I'm on the phone. I kept talking on the phone and suddenly he purposely tipped over the little table my 8-month-old was leaning on as she was trying to stand. Then she hits her face on the tipped over table and starts crying. Immediately, I feel so much anger towards him. Thoughts of, I know he did it on purpose, arise. I keep having this perception that he is dangerous around my baby, that he likes hurting her and bullying her. I went to the room to comfort my baby and take some time to reflect on what happened. My 4-year-old knocks on the door and I say, what do you need? He said, let me come in. I said, don't you see I'm taking care of the baby because you hurt her? I say, doesn't it make you sad to be so mean to her? Then I become aware that I'm perceiving him as guilty. Good, very good. He comes in the room and I say, why did you do that, Mason? If you're going to act like that, then you're going to school. I become aware of my attempts to control and manipulate his behavior with punishment. Very nice. I start judging myself for what's playing out. He's crying, saying, no, I'm sorry, please, I don't want to go to school today. Then I say, okay, you don't have to go to school. Can you tell me why you purposely tipped the table over? He said, because I wanted to play with you, but you kept talking on the phone. And then I felt bad because I saw that he was just wanting my attention, but mommy was on the phone. Then I judged myself for talking on the phone instead of playing with him. I'm seeing often that it's not that I really want anything on the surface to change. I keep playing this game of looking for the love that I am outside of me and falling into the illusion that if life goes a certain way, only then I will be what I already am, happy, whole, complete. Can you give me some clarity on my perception of my 4-year-old being dangerous to my baby and bullying her? How can I start perceiving his innocence instead of the evidence being shown that he is a beast and an out-of-control animal needing to be caged up? Thank you very much. That is such a wonderful question. I'm so happy that you posed that question to me. I have had similar perceptions with my kids and feeling like, oh my goodness, they are out of control. They're totally out of control. So here's the thing that I found out, and it's only that it's a perception, right? Everything is arising in our perception. The only thing that needs healing is perception. Nothing is happening and no one is doing anything. In fact, in this particular case, you recognize that you were a bit resistant when he didn't want to go to school because you thought you could get some peace and quiet and take care of your 8-month-old and do some chores with less stress. So in that particular moment, yes, there was resistance to feeling. Resistance to feeling. So it's like you're running away from your feeling and believing the thought because, of course, you've seen evidence before and you're trusting the evidence. You're trusting past perceptions and pushing them into the future. So to be in the now moment is to get that feeling all by itself. So it's kind of like when your son is asking for the day off school, he's presenting himself as a messenger to you, as a messenger. And that messenger is bringing up a feeling in you, but you don't recognize that that's a messenger bringing up a feeling in you. You take the thoughts about that feeling to be real and true. So you're setting it into motion right there. You're setting it into motion. Now, the way I worked through that was in noticing that I'm making that up. I'm making that up, those thoughts that are triggering the feeling. He's giving me the message. I'm making some commentary, or you could say I'm allowing myself to be led by the ego's commentary. And remember, the ego always speaks first. Okay, there's two voices in the mind, one of the ego, one of the spirit. For most people, they get the ego's voice, which is first, and it's loud, and they trust that voice. Okay, they don't ask for a reinterpretation. So in that place, that initial place where I sense the resistance, I would ask for a reinterpretation. I must have it wrong if I think that that something's going to go badly for me. Okay. If I find one of my kids saying, I want to do this, like for instance, stay home from school, and I had other plans, okay, and I find myself saying, okay, you don't have to go to school, and feeling some resistance, immediately my attention's going to go to, I'm making a misinterpretation, or another way of saying it is, I'm making a mistake. Show me a true interpretation. So I'm in a position of asking. I'm not in a position of leaning to the wisdom of the ego, like this is going to be bad. So the next step, you're talking on the phone and he keeps asking you to play with him. And you keep saying, 1 minute, I'm on the phone. Okay. You don't have any control over what you say. Remember, there's only two choices, one between following the ego's voice, and the other one being following the voice of spirit, okay? To open yourself up to listen and hear the voice of spirit, you've got to notice that when he asks you to play with him and you're on the phone, notice what feeling that's bringing up. You get that feeling. Don't even concern yourself with what you say or anything like that. That's happening automatically. Okay, that's happening automatically. You don't have to concern yourself with that. You just get the feeling of, hey, I want to play with you. No, I'm on the phone. That's a feeling. There's a feeling sensation that comes along with that, okay? So when you get that feeling, then that's going to inform your actions when you allow yourself to get that feeling, okay? So this keeps on going because of the resistance. It's because of the resistance that it keeps on going. Immediately, I feel so much anger towards him. Okay, that's not true that it's towards him. The anger is always towards yourself. The anger is towards yourself because you're not listening to your spirit. Okay, so that's why the anger comes up. It seems like it's toward him, but it's really toward yourself. Thoughts of, I know he did it on purpose. Okay, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay, this is after the boy seemed to have a temper tantrum and knock something down, apparently causing the little baby to hit her face and get hurt. Okay, so it's like I'm having this perception that he's dangerous around my baby, that he likes hurting her and bullying her. So that's going to be the next step. It's like, oh my God, it's like a big boom, because that's like, I've been resisting my feeling, resisting my feeling, resisting my feeling till it gets to the point where it's a big feeling now. So that's how it goes. As their resistance goes on, something seems to occur on the surface that really brings you a big message. And in this case, it was the small baby getting hurt, the perception of bullying by a 4-year-old, okay? And then he's knocking on the door saying, let me come in. I said, don't you see I'm taking care of the baby because you hurt her? Now, the only reason you said you hurt her is because of believing he hurt her. It's because of believing that. So it's not like you need to try to change your language, nor can you. So that's where the mind gets tripped up a lot, trying to change the language. Hey, I don't want to make him feel guilty, you know. But it's good to just see whatever it is that comes out of your mouth, because then you can see what you're thinking. So when you see, I'm perceiving him as guilty, it's like, whoa, I made him guilty. I made that up. Okay. And then he comes in and I say, why did you do that? So you're still going along with he's guilty. If you're going to act like that, then you're going to school. There's the punishment for it. Remember, this is all self-talk. This is all coming because of the belief that you're guilty and you deserve punishment, okay? And that's a big reason why we have kids, so we can see those things manifest like that. I become aware of my attempts to control and manipulate his behavior with punishment. Yep. I start judging. Next thing, I start judging myself because I know that he hasn't done anything. I know that I'm making it up. Still, you don't have to start judging yourself because you're learning. Okay, you're learning. All of it's for learning. You don't have to start judging yourself for what's playing out. What's playing out is always teaching your mind. He's crying and saying, no, I'm sorry, please, I don't want to go to school. Then I say, okay, you don't have to go to school. Can you tell me why you purposely tipped the table over? And he said, because I wanted to play with you, but you kept talking on the phone. Okay. So you're still going along with, you could see that you're still going along with, he did something because you're asking him why he did it. Why he purposely tipped over the table. And it's not a bad thing at all. But then you felt bad because you thought it was a bad thing, but you're really just learning. He was just wanting to play while mommy was on the phone, yeah. Then I judge myself for talking on the phone instead of playing with him. See how the ego just keeps on piling it on, because that's the first and loudest voice. And there hasn't been yet an appeal to spirit because there has been following along with the ego's voice, okay? I'm seeing often that it's not that I really want anything on the surface to change. Yes, you got it. I keep playing this game of looking for love, that I am outside of me and falling into the illusion that if life goes a certain way, only then I will be what I already am. That's the whole trick of the ego. And you know, that's like that one, seek but do not find, because you're never going to get happy, whole, complete by following the ego's voice. Never, never, never. Can you give me some clarity on my perception of my 4-year-old being dangerous to my baby and bullying her? Yes, every step of the way, it comes back to, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? And notice what I really want. What I really want. You already know, the person questioning, you already know that you don't want anything on the surface to change. You want to use the surface perceptions for undoing the guilty self-concept so that you can reveal a world of love and light, the real world, the real world. So it comes down to every time you have the perception all along, you're getting another invitation to accept that this is a message. And it's asking you to get the feeling and to recognize you're making it up. And that's where the healing is going to come in. Then you don't have to keep on listening to the ego. Okay. So don't worry about the bullying thing. The bullying thing is, it seems like it's a really big deal. And I even got on my Unschooling for Parents page someone trying to post. I didn't approve the post because it was making bullying real. And it's not real. It's us making it real through belief that makes it keep on manifesting like that. It's really, I promise you, an effect of thinking that someone can do something to someone else and making guilty, instead of just getting the feeling that's coming up and recognizing I'm making this up. And that really heals everything. That really heals everything. Any perception that you get, it's a reaction. It's kind of like a reaction. Even if it's another person, it's actually projected from your body's energy field. So as you keep on looking like that, it'll become very clear. And to the person who's writing this question, it is becoming clearer and clearer to you each time. I could tell by what you're saying. In between following the ego, it's becoming clearer, and you're going to see, and it's going to come back again and again until you see through it. This perception is going to come back again and again until you see through it, and then you won't be able to have the perception of bullying again. Remember that the only thing that can heal, the only thing that needs healing is your perception. There is no one outside of yourself. And the healing comes from making a choice. That's a creative choice to listen to the voice of spirit, which comes after the ego's voice. It's quieter than the ego's voice. So there has to be a willingness to look past that first voice that's basically wisdom of the world, telling you to believe your perception that this terrible thing has happened or this terrible thing will happen because of what you've perceived in the past. In fact, nothing happens. It's an energy play, and we have complete dominion over it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I love you. If you're watching on YouTube, even if you're not watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. It's Wisdom Dialogues on YouTube. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho.